Dear Future Me. Diary entry, April 25th, 2026. Well, this week I'm going to be looking at technical specs and stage plots. And the reason I'm looking at that is on the 29th of May, I'm going to be playing at Wild Festival, Staffordshire, which is a lovely family festival that's run each year just on the outskirts of Lichfield. And I've had the opportunity for several years to be able to play there for the patrons of the festival. And I get to play my original music, which is a really wonderful opportunity. A part of the prep for that, I have to submit a technical spec and stage plot. And that essentially is a bunch of information that I need to give to the venue so that they know what I'm bringing and how they can plug me into whatever facilities they've got. So the kind of things that need to be in a tech spec is one, channel listing and how many channels we're going to use. Two, your DI box use or the direct injection. And this box takes the high impedance, unbalanced signal that comes out of things like guitars and basses and keyboards, normally on a 1/4 inch jack, and then converts that to a kind of low impedance balance signal. And this, and I don't understand the technology, but this then enables that signal to travel greater distances on longer cables without there being any sort of noise or interference. You need to think about phantom power, because some microphones require power being sent to them, and that's referred to as phantom power, and that's 48 volts. The desk can provide that by giving the power down the cable, or you can have a battery put in your microphone if you're using it. Stage microphone for vocals and for instrument pickup are things that you need to specify. So if you're using a vocal microphone, are there going to be any voice processing that takes place before it comes to the main console? Do we need mic stands? Do we need short or tall boom or straight or overhead stands? Stage power, often for things like your pedal board, and I'll give you a quick shot of the pedal board, and maybe even amplifiers if you're bringing amplifiers. Then we need to agree how we're going to hear the sounds that we're making, because it's quite interesting that when you do stand on a stage, actually it can be quite difficult to hear actually the sound that you're making, even the singing, because things can be very, very loud, but even though that they're loud, you can't actually discern what you're playing. So I've played gigs in the past where I can't actually hear what I'm playing. It's kind of disconcerting. So you can use monitor wedges, which are speakers pointed towards you, or you can use IEMs, in-ear monitors, and have a little set of in-ear monitors. Then there's a thing called stage plot, which in filmatic terms it's blocking and staging, but essentially is, where is everything on the stage to help you get on and get off. One of the big problems with being a solo band is that I'm not just walking on with a guitar. I've got a guitar, and often I've got more than one guitar. I've got them plugged in multiple ways, and then I've got a drum kit, and then I've got to get all of that on and off often within 15 minutes. And so you're setting up, scrabbling around on the floor, you get up, sit on the chair to check the guitar's in tune, and then they're telling you, okay, here you go, and you can't go away and you have to start playing. So there's no kind of gathering your thoughts or kind of getting in the zone. You just have to get up there and do it. And that's just part and parcel of playing these kind of festival slots where you get like a 15-minute turnover from one to another. The other is the terminology about backline, and you might hear the term backline. And backline is about the amplification of instruments and the voice. It can also mean drum kit, Often it's just the parts of the drum that are not breakable, so it would kind of exclude cymbals and snare. Often, so if you are going to play a backline drum kit, you'd be bringing your own snare and your own cymbals. Now, having said that, most of that then gets set up by the venue, so everything's mic'd up. Here I come along with my foot drum, with its inbuilt snare, its inbuilt bass, the hi-hat, and the other percussion, and I've got to set all of that up within the kind of 15-minute block that we've got. So it's important that I communicate to the guys what it is I need, so that we can literally set up off stage, bring it on. I can hand over the leads that I need to, and they can identify how and where each one's going to go. Right, so I kind of whittled on quite a bit here, but let me just say a couple of things. This week's been interesting for me, in as much as, because I've got to fill in and complete one of these technical specs for the gig in a few weeks' time. I've tended to go towards the simpler solution. Now, I play a guitar that has 3 outputs, one which is rhythm, one which is a kind of an electric blend, and the third, using an octave pedal, creates the bass tone for the piece. And for the last 2 years that I've played there, I've avoided using all 3. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to start using them. So my next video next week is going to be about getting that sound dialed in for the gig that's happening in a few weeks' time. The other things that have happened this week is I've received the glass that I'm using to hold down my negatives for my screen printing. So I'm going to be able to get on and crack on and do some screen printing. So I'll show you that. I've also been familiarizing myself with the kind of update of the software that I'm using, which is the mobile sheet software, and making sure that that's available on the other 2 devices that I've got to use as a part of that process. Okay, anyway, thank you. Like and subscribe if you have a mind to. As always, I'm really grateful if you've watched this. It's helping me kind of drive on, and that's really what this is all about. Anyway, take care. See you next time.